Hi, this is Swapnil Bharti and we are here at GitLab Contributor. Today we have with us Andrew Newdigate. You are a staff engineer at GitLab. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Andrew Newdigate. I am a staff engineer. I live in Cape Town in South Africa. I was a co-founder of a startup called Gitter. I built that from 2012 until it got acquired by GitLab in 2017, at which point I joined the company and got involved in infrastructure. So the first thing I did at GitLab was I worked on something called Gitterly, which was an effort to basically take all the Git infrastructure out of the main application of GitLab and move it into another service. After that, I led the GCP migration, and now I'm sort of focusing mostly on scaling issues that we have on GitLab.com, and particularly observability and tracing and metrics, and trying to understand what the application is doing, so that we can fix it.
So let's talk about observability.
You know, GitLab.com is interesting, and it's very different from many SaaS platforms because it's basically exactly the same product that our customers use. And so much of the development is focused on, you know, what the customers need, and we have to take that and then scale it up to what we need at the scale that we need. So really, we kind of focusing on building something that can run on a Raspberry Pi or DigitalOcean Droplet, and then we're scaling that up to run on a cluster of hundreds of machines. And so we have some pretty unique sort of issues around that. When an outage happens, often we used to not know what it was, and it was very difficult for us to understand what was going on inside the application, and we would use tools like strace, which are very low level and don't give you very good insight. And we would also use limited metrics. And so one of the efforts that I've been involved in is expanding out our metrics to cover things that are important, and also adding alerting at the right places so that we know that things are going wrong before they go wrong, and hopefully fix them. And also adding a lot of logging, and particularly structured logging, so that we can do analysis and aggregate the logs and find the issues there as well, particularly with abuse. So abuse is one of the problems we have, and structured logging is a great way for us to address that.
Tell us, what's going on with distributed tracing.
Distributed tracing is a fantastic technology because it allows us to see how a request comes into a system and then passes through between different microservices in the system or different services. And you get a much better idea of where the problem is happening, why the problem is happening. And yeah, it's a really fantastic technology. It's been around for quite a few years. There's a very healthy ecosystem, lots of different vendors in it. We have chosen to go with Jaeger. The main reason for that really is because we are also using it in the product, and we're integrating our own product to use Jaeger so that our customers can use GitLab integrated with Jaeger. So it makes sense for us to use it inside the application, have our own traces going there. It's a fantastic sort of space. We selected something called OpenTracing, which is an API which you can use to instrument your application. We're really excited about the integration between OpenCensus and OpenTracing, and looking forward to hearing what that's going to mean for us. Because we're using OpenTracing at the moment, but one of the concerns we had was we knew that there was going to be changes, with the merger of OpenCensus and OpenTracing. And because of that, what we did was we built a library called LabKit, which is a little bit of a wrapper around OpenTracing, so that we can instrument our applications. And when we change over to whatever the merger of OpenCensus and OpenTracing becomes, we can use that merged. We can continue to use that API without having to change our application code. So we built two libraries. We built a library called LabKit Go and another one called LabKit Ruby. And those are deployed to all the services in our application. We've got Workhorse, Rails, Gitterly, of course, which I mentioned before. And we basically deployed that library, and with that we can configure OpenTracing under the hood. And if once OpenCensus comes along, or whatever the merger is, we can switch across to that without changing all of our applications. And I'm really happy that OpenCensus and OpenTracing are merging. What that means is that we can remove the abstraction that we've built into our application, and it means that people in future won't have to worry about that. And I'm really happy about that.
So before we wrap this up, just a quick question. You are here at the GitLab Contribute. What has been your experience so far?
I love GitLab Contribute because it means that everyone in the company can get together. We get to spend some time together socializing. We get to work on something like the challenge that Sid always gives us. And we can work together, which is very unusual because we're always working and talking to each other on Zoom. And we can sit around a table together, which is great. I love socializing. I love seeing everyone, catching up with them. It's a fantastic event.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.